Hi, my name is Wallace, and I'm not a sock. And today we're gonna talk about No Country for Old Men. Sailing to Byzantium is a poem by William Butler Yeats, first published in 1927. It starts like this. There is no country for old men, the young in one another's arms, birds in the trees, those dying generations. At their song the salmon falls, the mackerel crowded seas, fish, flesh or fowl, command all summer long. Whatever is begotten, born and dies, caught in that sensual music all neglect, monuments of an aging intellect. 6 years later, Cormac McCarthy was born in Providence, Rhode Island. He would eventually be regarded as one of the greatest American novelists. In July 19, 2005, he published No Country for Old Men. By August of the same year, the Coen brothers agreed to adapt the book and direct the movie.
It was a book that the producer Scott Rudin had brought to us, thinking we might have an affinity for it, and we did. I mean, just sort of at a basic level, liking it as a book.
On the surface, No Country for Old Men's story is pretty simple. Set in West Texas in 1980, it revolves around a hunter named Llewellyn Moss who stumbles upon the aftermath of a drug deal gone wrong. Moss discovers a briefcase filled with money at a crime scene and decides to take it for himself. This action sets off a chain of violent events, as a relentless hitman named Anton Chigurh is hired to retrieve the money. Chigurh eventually leaves a trail of death and destruction in his wake. All the while, we also follow Sheriff Ed Tom Bell, who is trying to make sense of the escalating violence and the changing moral landscape of the world he inhabits. Straightforward, pulpy, modern, western stuff, right? Not really. The movie is filled with symbolism, themes of fate and faith,
Call it.
morality and mortality, and the inexorable consequences of one's choices. Of all the characters, one could argue that none is more filled with sad symbolism than Chigurh. In the book he is described as blue-eyed, serene, dark hair, something about him faintly exotic, beyond Moss's experience. Carson Wells describes him like this.
If I was into cutting deals, why wouldn't I just deal with this guy, Sugar?
Oh, no, you don't understand. You can't make a deal with him. Even if you gave him the money back, he'd still kill you just for inconveniencing him. He's a peculiar man. I might even say he has principles that transcend money or drugs or anything like that. Not like you. Yeah.
To me, he seems like someone deliberately written and filmed to appear out of place and out of time. An enforcer of fate, guided by a very particular set of principles, not affected by the concept of money or greed, even though his primary motive in the story is to find Moss and recover the money. There are many scenes in the movie that give him an almost supernatural quality. Is Chigurh actually there? Was Ed Tom just imagining it? Is Chigurh actually Ed Tom's idea of personified evil? Or this one, which can simply be seen as a sociopath hurting a crow for no reason, or following these kinds of themes and drawing a parallel with these scenes?
Give me that.
Maybe Chigurh doesn't like to be watched or controlled by the higher power of fate or death he works for, while doing his job. In the end, Chigurh becomes the driving force that pushes the narrative forward. Moss being the catalyst of the events given his choices to keep the money and returning to the desert with water. And then Tom, the voice of philosophical reflection and solidifier of the existentialist themes in the book and movie. We can see that the book and the movie engage with existentialist themes through its exploration of choice, consequence, the absurdity of life, isolation, the search for meaning.
What is it Torbert says about truth and justice?
Oh, we dedicate ourselves daily anew. Something like that.
I'm gonna commence dedicating myself twice daily. Might come to 3 times before it's over with.
Individual responsibility.
You got no cause to hurt me.
No. But I gave my word.
And the inevitability of death.
We should have brought weenies.
That look like about a 77 Ford to you, Wendell?
It could be.
I'd say it is, not a doubt in my mind.
Well, I've got a very strong feeling about lenses, and personally, I'm sitting here talking to you, and you're filming me from over there on a shoulder on probably a single, where I'd rarely do that, because I think, you know, the camera wants to be, to me, I would shoot singles inside here, unless it's for a particular fact, and then I'd drop back off and be more observational with a shoulder in. I mean, I think it's a totally different effect to an audience looking at somebody on the end of a 100mm lens, as opposed to somebody that's being shot on a 27 close to, or 21. So here we are, 32mm or 30mm. It's on a zoom, so sometimes you can't tell what the millimeter is. Anyway, but it's different, right? You know, it's a sense of presence. You're right there with somebody as opposed to being... I think psychologically it's a totally different effect, so...
I won't be going too much in depth about No Country for Old Men cinematography in this video, as I plan on doing an entire video on Roger Deakins and his career. His approach to lighting, shot composition and camera movement has always fascinated me, and the partnership he had with the Coens since 1991's Barton Fink gave us some of his best work.
Show you the life of the mind!
Peter F. Kurland, the sound mixer, and Craig Berkey, the sound designer for the movie, were both nominated for the Oscar of Best Achievement in Sound Mixing. But what about longtime Coen collaborator Carter Burwell? Many people have this idea that No Country for Old Men doesn't have any music, but it does. And it's non-diegetic. It's subtle, but it's there, and it has a purpose. Take a listen.
Why not just set you down right here and we won't argue about it?
Take me to another motel.
Let's just call it square.
Look, you're already in a jackpot and I'm trying to get you out of it. But take me to another motel.
The first time I saw the movie, I didn't notice it. As it is so tightly connected to the overall sound design, it can easily be disregarded as wind or any other sound motif. This made me think about Ben Wheatley and the way he uses sound in his movies, especially Kill List or In the Earth, where he uses droning or atonal sound frequencies to convey tension, fear or confusion.
I started the whole project wanting to base it around sound and light because they're, you know, that's the building blocks of cinema. I wanted to make sure that they were incorporated into the script so that, in a way that music and sound weren't a kind of poor cousins. They were actually a plot device, you know. So you would then be able to have the excuse just to put it front and center rather than use it as a, you know, an aid to pointing the audience towards emotion. It's actually, the sound is the story.
Burwell uses this approach to music in film in the same manner, once again making us find more themes and symbolism in No Country for Old Men. Going back to the crow scene, we can hear the reverberation of the bridge transforming into a droning sound of its own, and even bleeding into the next scene. As if some kind of bad omen hovering over had Tom Bell's day. Okay, so that's No Country for Old Men. If you haven't watched this movie, please do. Read the book as well if you can. Although, if you got this far in the video, a lot was spoiled. Oh well. I'll see you next time, everyone.